Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be doing some Blender work. Now, for those of you who follow my Blender work and my modeling work and all that, you'll know fairly recently I made a peaked visor. Now, when I originally made it, I made it with the intent of making something better than British Armed Forces, or British Allied Forces had. Unfortunately, I made the mistake of looking at peaked visors instead of period photos. Now, there's an odd thing that appears on the internet. When you search up British peaked visor World War II, you get something that looks very similar to what I made before. But when you look in photos, it's a different story. And that was my issue. So, I'm going to be making something better. Hopefully better. I'm going to be using the similar techniques that I used last time. And yes, that's all really. I'm going to be having, this is going to be streamed live. You're going to be seeing the entirety of this video from start to finish. And it's going to be streamed live in my own personal server. This isn't going to be very often. I'm not going to do this very often in all honesty, so we'll get started, I suppose. We haven't got many people watching us, but I've got a few references and I'm going to attempt to make the cap. Okay, so what we want to start with is we want to start with a mesh circle. And we want to roughly work out where we want the cap to sit on the head. So I'm going to want to sit somewhere here, and we'll just bring it in so it's, we actually just bring it down here and check it. It's nice and square to the head, and that should be good for starting. So up we go. Lovely. Like that. And then here's where it gets more complicated. One second, I'm being pestered. Technical difficulties. Just 1 second. Now, as I did say, I'm streaming live, but I just slight technical difficulties. Let's see. I wasn't recording, or I wasn't streaming. Sorry, on Discord, but I was recording. That much I know. Okay. Anyway, we'll continue. So we bring this up, I don't know. I don't want this too high, but we'll do it. We can always change the angle at the end of the day. I think I want it this for now, and then we'll bring it out again, like so, and then we'll bring it up. And then we'll bring it in. And that'll be our basic shape. So now what I want to do is I want to build the framework of the hat. So I just want to work out where I'm going to be going. Okay, so here. So I need to edit this top, because if I don't do it a certain way, it's not going to bend properly. So what I need to do is make it so it will actually bend with the shape and keep it sort of it'll look acceptable and not horrific and unfixable. This is just an easier thing to do now instead of doing it later, if anything accidentally comes out of line. It's a fairly quick job as well. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any sort of software that logs my keystrokes, and I don't intend to install it for some stupid little stream, but I will give some pointers as to techniques I might use. One of those being this technique. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select just this brim here, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to select this tool up here, and I'm going to drag this up. What I want to do to this cap is I want to give it a slight curve. And I think that's good. Alright. Right, now we can turn that off, bring it back down. And we can fix some of the issues with it now. So I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to put it flat, like so. And I'm going to grab the other one and I'm going to put it flat, like so. And there we are. We've got the starting of our peaked visor. So I'm going to move this up to something like that. Actually, I think I might want to push this in just a little bit more, like so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to then put it so I can see the entirety of the mesh through and through. I'm just going to grab this, and what I want to do is I want to put a slight bit of angle to it. Now I'm going to be angling the cap anyway on the head, but I want to add a little bit extra angle now, just to sort of define the rear and make it look a little better just sitting on the person. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. I'm not entirely happy with it and I'm not quite sure why. I'm going to go for a expert opinion here. Dragan, what do you think? Alright. Well, if it isn't good enough for Bruno, I might as well quit my job. Although I don't really make stuff for him specifically. I technically only make stuff for BAF, but not specifically for him, but at the end of the day it ends up in his hands, so I might as well at least try to make it look decent. And it appears... okay, whatever. My Discord chat seems to be not worthy of looking at, in all honesty. Let's see. Let's look at some other photos, shall we? I don't know why I'm not very happy with this. It might look a little better once I've added some more to this. Just put it down his head a little, and we'll actually increase the size. And I'm actually going to put a little bit of a brim in. Just sort of scale it down and pull it in. And that should do. Yeah, that's good. So now if we get rid of the actual character here, it goes in a little bit, but it doesn't go very far in. It doesn't need to be. I think the actual general shape is fine. Nothing wrong with it. I've been told that I should... well, the thing about that is I can always push this down. But yeah, I've been suggested that possibly I should raise it back up again. I did pull it down, but I think that might be an idea. I think that looks about right. I think this thing won't start looking right until I've got the actual brim on this. We can't have a peaked cap with no brim. What I am actually going to do though is I am going to grab this, and I think I want to pull it up maybe a little bit, and then I think I'll actually also pull this up a little. Might also help with the sort of styling. Yeah, that looks good. What I want to do next is I want to raise the middle section a little. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a few points. I'm just going to raise this middle section slightly. We'll do this a different way actually. So if we grab the points all the way along to here, and we slightly raise it every point along, just slightly, sort of create a raised section in the middle. And then we just do the last point. So it sort of bows out in the middle, just a little. Going up. Who's pinging me? Ah, the Sir has joined us. I see. I'm not making this specifically for BAF to use. I just felt like trying again and making a video out of it. So there's two distinct styles I'm seeing of the cap. There's this style, and then we'll just duplicate this, bring it across. And then there's this sort of style where it's a lot flatter and a lot more raised up. And I generally associate that with something like an artillery peaked visor. As generally when I see an artillery or a Royal Artillery visor, it's quite straight and flat at the top, and then it comes in very sharply into the head's sort of portion and size. And I might also build that today. I'm actually going to ask my chat, my people, whether they like this or that. I feel like making both versions, but I'm just taking a quick break to get a bit of an opinion. Dragan's giving me his opinion. Dragan, what do you mean by smaller exactly? This one. I don't know. I think it's a bit... No, I don't like it. No, I'm going to go with the one I just showed off. I think it does need to be like that. Tough business this is, trying to find some photos that look more of a good angle that you can really get the best understanding from. Okay. I'm going to say that's good enough for now. There's a slight droop, as I have been suggesting. I put a little droop there. I suppose it's on to the actual brim. So we're going to duplicate this actual thing here, and then we're going to separate it by loose parts. Let's just make sure it hasn't dropped anything. No. I'm going to take this, and I don't want this to be no bigger than perhaps this point here, so we'll delete these vertices, we'll grab it and we'll take it up. I think that's a good starting place. I've been suggested that I should try the Balmoral again. The Balmoral, for those who don't know, is a beret looking headdress worn traditionally by Scottish men. I'm guessing it's in and out of service. Unsure exactly. Not too long ago I attempted to make it, but the actual shape of the thing caused me a considerable amount of headache, and I stopped making it purely because the shape is difficult to make, to say the least. Very difficult to make, very hard to make, so I am unsure of really how to make it. So I didn't make it, I didn't end up making it, and I don't really want to make it again. So I'll deny that suggestion. But what we're going to do now is we're going to create our cap. So we don't wear brim, sorry. So I don't really want it to come out too far. They never came out too far. I think here's a good position for it to come out to. Let's droop a little. And I want to bring the sides in as well. So we'll just grab our sizing tool and we'll just... I think I'll actually just take this outer ridge and I'll squeeze it a little. And then I want to edit maybe the curvature so it's a little bit more rounded. We'll also bring these ones up as they're a bit down. Yeah, I think that looks... I think it could actually do with being brought out a step. Just here, perhaps. I wanted a bit of a rounded corner, a rounded little... That's generally what they were, but I feel it's not quite taking the shape I want it to. So I'm just going to bring it in a touch. Like that. Okay, yeah, I think that works. Although I am just going to bring up these two corners here, which doesn't seem to allow me to select them sometimes. There we go. I'm going to bring them up just a tad, so they're a bit more in line. And then all we're going to do is we're going to select this entire thing and we're going to extrude it up. Like so. We don't want this to be too thick, no. And then what I'm going to do also is I'm going to put a line like that in, and I'm just going to scale it up. So it's got a bit of a rounded shape to it. There, that's good. I think I'm going to take this part here and I'm going to drop it. Come off that. Yes, I think that's acceptable. Now, it may not look too good now, but I think the finishing touches might help to put a better sort of look on it. What we are going to do now is we're going to do the strap. Now, I don't really know what the purpose of the strap is on it, but it's something that exists and I'm going to add it. So, like before, we're going to separate this out. And looking at images, it starts somewhere around halfway, so we're just going to take half of this off, like so. Select it all and bring it out to about here. That's going to be a good position, and then I'm going to want to extrude it up to about, we don't want it too big on the cap. And then we're going to select it all again, and we're going to extrude, and we're going to scale it. So I'm going to want to bring it out about so much, and then we're going to stretch it sideways till I think it matches, and that matches. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take these corner pieces and we're just going to pull them back so it's in line, like so. Alright. On further inspection, I think this might be a little bit taller, just a little bit. That should do it. Right. What I also want to do with this thing what do you mean by shallow exactly, Jan? You know, I can literally just do this. I can size it up. This isn't the final size, you know. The hair is quite tight to the head, in all honesty. At the end of the day, if it doesn't fit over here, I can always edit it. Well, the female hair is always going to stick out the back. It's the problem with female hair. I should have made the bun lower, and then it would have collided with so many things. No, it's not, sir. The sir is suggesting that my new catchphrase during battles be "Oi dickhead." It's a reference to Corporal Niokas in Bad Lads Army Extreme. It's I recommend you watch it, actually. It's a very fun watch if you're interested in watching a bunch of stupid kids have their asses handed to them by 1950s training. Good watch, good fun watch. It's always nice to see them get their act together in the end as well. Okay, we're going to be making the straps actually that go around this. So on photos I've seen, there are sort of almost buckles on it. Now I'm trying to get a good photo of them. Okay, I think I've got a good photo. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add me a... Actually no, what we're going to do is we're actually going to just take a face. No, we're not. Okay, scrap that again. What we're going to do is we're going to add a mesh plane, bring it up, and I want to rotate it in the y-axis, yes, 90 degrees. And we're going to scale the absolute fuck out of it and bring it forward, like so. And we want to make this roughly the size of that just about the size of it. Like so. Okay, that's good. So what I want to do is I want to make a box section. Actually, we'll select it all and we'll bring it closer. And we'll bring it to this point here. I think that's good enough. And we'll grab this. Nope. Okay, we're going to have to go this way. Like so. And I'm just going to bring it back until it goes past that corner. And I'm seeing on these caps that there is interesting shape. Now the problem is that there isn't many pictures of the certain style that I'm looking for that are up close. But on the British peaked visor that I've seen, that the internet claims is a peaked visor, there's a lot of close-ups of it. Okay, so I've got a general idea of what I want to do. What's going on? Exactly? Anyway, we're going to give it a bit of a curve. So I'm going to bring this curve out just a little bit more, so it's a little bit more noticeable. A little bit. Oh no, that's the wrong one. A little bit more pronounced. Should be good. And then what I want to do is I want to grab these points and I want to extrude them, and I want to scale them down. Just scale them down. Actually, I might, yeah, bring it out and scale it down. What I want to add is a sort of a tongue to this. From the pictures I've seen, there is a slight tongue to this. And what I'm just going to do for the final touches is I'm going to loop cut, and I'm going to bring this point here out to complete the curve. And we'll then grab this curve with that, and we're going to bring it back just enough to cement itself. Alright, so we've made this model. I think that's good enough. So I'm actually going to set this geometry to origin, and we're going to make two of them. So we're going to do this, duplicate it, and then I'm going to rotate this in the z-axis, x-axis 180. So we've got a nice 180 turn. And then we are just going to place these. So I'm going to bring this here, and I'm going to bring it down, and I'm going to roughly work out where I want it. I think I want it just about here. And we're going to go up here, go into this view, and here, just in these two lines, is where the curvature is. So I'm going to bring this in line with the curvature, and I'm going to bring it to this. And it appears I was just off. Odd. I'm actually going to remove this from my viewport so that I can get a better view on placing this. And I'm now realizing that this isn't the correct thickness. So we're going to bring this out to the correct thickness. And we're just going to sort of play around with the where everything is until I'm happy. I think I'm happy there. We'll go back into this view so we can get a bit of understanding of what we're doing, and we'll just bring her back. Yeah, that'll do. Now, actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to duplicate this, and then I'm going to mirror it in, nope, not that one. Mirror it in Y global, perfect. And this cap should be equal on both sides, so we're just going to put those notches in there. Okay, that makes my life a little easier and makes this model look a little better. So now we've got these little bits on it. I'd say that looks rather good. Lovely. Okay, now what I've got to do is I've got to add the sort of built buckles, if you will. And I'm going to achieve this with some cylinders, or some spheres. So I'm going to have to play around with this. So I'm going to drop the radius down. I'm actually going to get rid of the man so I can actually see this thing. I'm going to drop the radius down odd. Okay, we'll try that again. Delete that. Stop viewing the man. And we will add a UV circle. Okay, so I don't want it just too big, so I'm just going to drop this actual size down for now. We're going to get nice and close, and we're going to start bringing the segments down until it's a bit of a basic shape. We don't want it too complicated. And then we're going to just... Oh, wrong side. We're going to just position this. So I'm going to size it up just a little, and we're going to position this here nicely in the middle, and then we're going to submerge it into the side until we're happy with how much sticks out. And I think that's good, maybe. Alright, and then what we're going to do is we're going to just duplicate it and pull it across and do the same on the other side until I think it's probably about symmetrical. I think that's good. Okay, so we can now select both sides and join them. And we're going to do all this and join them too. And I'm going to grab these two and join them too. So we now have our peaked visor mesh. I think this looks rather good, actually. But before we do that, there is something I actually do need to do. Which, let's go back a step and let's separate those two. What I need to do is I actually need to separate this. We'll split by selection. Just hide that man for a second, and we'll grab this here and we'll split this by selection. Perfect. And here we'll also grab this and we'll just fill it in. So if we look underneath now, it'll be nice and flat. And I'll also grab this section here and fill it as well. So that'll allow us to change the two colours of it. And what we actually want to do is we want to select these two and join each other. Okay, that's good. Undo, actually no. When I started this, actually, I did say to one of the viewers currently, Jagan, that I would try and make a Royal Military Police cover for this, and that is exactly what I will do right now. So what we want to do is I'm going to duplicate this. Good. And I'm going to increase the size ever so slightly and bring it down so it's just resting above. And what I want to do is I want to create this. So we'll bring it down, out a bit, bring it down, bring it down. Lovely. What didn't RMP wear? They didn't wear these peaked visors that I'm doing in this style now with the cover over it. Well, too bad. I'm making it for you, so cry profusely. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm now going to... So we need to know that this is the middle point here. And we're going to go around the edge and we're going to do this to it. We just need to do it. Okay, that's good. And what we're going to do is we're going to painfully select all the bits I want. this, this, this. So I'm just going to do this. And what I want to do is I want to create a crimped effect, where I draw these in a sense. Much in the way you'd crimp the crust edge of a pasty. And hopefully this will line up as we go along, and we won't have failed. We go along and we grab these crimped edges, and what I'm going to do in a second you will see. It's a very simple trick. It'll just add some more stylization, one might say, to these peaked visors. Okay, for some reason that one's selected. It looks good. It looks good. Looks like we've got all the ones we want selected. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to squeeze it like so. And then we have ourselves an RMP cover, I suppose. Yeah, I'm happy with that, I think. I think that looks acceptable. So we'll put that back where it's supposed to be for now. We'll push it up. We can always reposition it in a second. And now we're going to grab everything. Actually, no, there's one more thing I want to do before that. I want to grab this, and I'm going to want to bevel it. We'll put just 2 lines, and that creates a better curved effect. And I also want to grab this outside line, like so. And hopefully that shouldn't cause any issues. Lovely. Same for this one up here. We'll just bevel these to create a nice curve, and we'll do the same here. Nope, failed that. Like so. And we'll bevel this slightly. Only slightly. And what I'll also do actually is I'll also bevel this ever so slightly. Hopefully that shouldn't cause any issues. And we'll do the same with this on its outer brim edge. We'll bevel this. And I think that's good. So now we can finally grab everything, bar the dummy. Actually, we'll get rid of the... No, we'll keep the dummy for now. Grab everything. No, I think we're supposed to do this at one point at a time. So we'll grab this and add to each of them a subdivision surface modifier. No, I want to shade this smooth first, I think. So we'll shade it smooth. And then we'll add that. Okay, so we'll grab everything first again. And we'll just chuck a shade smooth on it. So this doesn't look particularly good. What we'll do now is we'll add a surface subdivider. And then what we just need to do as well is we need to grab this outer edge and we need to pull it down. Like so. We'll hide this real quick, because what I want to do is I want to also put one... I can't. Okay, we'll just grab another one and do this a couple of times. This is fine. and that's fine as well. And what we'll now do is we will now add that thing I just said about doing. And we're going to have to do it on this as well. It's creating a strange effect. Okay, I think on this one we won't actually bother to do that, because it's creating an odd effect which I'm not particularly happy with. But this and this, I suppose I could add. No, it's not needed there. I think it's mostly just needed on these parts. What we are actually going to do though is we are going to pull this up. No, we're not. I don't look right. There we are. Well, I'd say that's successful. It took me just around 30 minutes actually. We started at 10 past and it's 40 past now. What I want to just do now is I just want to tilt it back slightly, position it so it's a bit right. And there we are. We have a peaked visor ready and looking good. Now for an opinion on the chat. What does the chat think about this? Bruno, Jan, what do you think? Do you think this is acceptable to serve in the Queen's Army? King's Army? It looks like a cap. Yes, it does. It does look like a cap. So there we go. If I just quickly remove the just trying to think what looks a little better, in all honesty, because there's an issue with that and I don't like it. It does get rid of that strange shape though, so I think I'll keep it. Alright, that works. Well, for those who are watching in BAF, don't count your wishes. I doubt this thing is actually coming to BAF. You can beg Bruno for it if you really want it, but I highly doubt he's ever going to have it. I do actually just want to add in that little bit, because I want to define the brim a bit more. Yeah, that looks good. Alright, anyway, as I was saying, don't pester Bruno. He's not going to bring this to the BAF. He's adamant that the caps he has are perfect and do not need to be changed. This was purely a bit of fun, in all honesty, as I do quite like making these caps. The caps we use currently in BAF, as I've been told, are free models, or have been taken from somebody else. Anyway, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.